What if everything you've been told about God, history, and your own potential was just a fraction of a much bigger story? Imagine a hidden code running beneath the surface of religion, science, and everyday life. A code so ancient, it's etched in emerald and whispered through the ages by those who dared to challenge the status quo. In this journey, you'll uncover secrets that flip the script on what you thought was true, find out why the most powerful wisdom was hidden in plain sight, and discover how tuning into the right frequency can instantly change the direction of your life. Ready for a wake-up call that might ruffle a few feathers and spark some serious curiosity? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn isn't just another dusty legend. It's the start of a personal revolution. Most people grow up picturing God as some distant figure sitting on a golden throne, watching us from afar. But imagine, just for a second, that God isn't a person at all. What if God is a frequency, humming quietly in every living thing? It's like radio waves. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they aren't filling the room with music, waiting for you to tune in. A wise soul knows the real task isn't to worship a statue in a temple, but to adjust their own dial until they're picking up that divine broadcast inside themselves. You could think of it like learning to play an instrument. At first, you hear only noise, but with practice you find the note that matches the universe's song. If someone wanted to apply this, it could be as simple as starting each morning with a quiet moment, listening for that subtle hum of energy in their own heartbeat or breath. When stress hits, they might pause and ask, "What frequency am I on right now? Am I tuned to worry, or can I shift to gratitude?" With practice, anyone can begin to notice little shifts. A feeling of calm in the middle of chaos. A sudden spark of inspiration out of nowhere. This isn't about sitting cross-legged for hours or chanting in a cave. It's about small daily adjustments that gradually connect a person to something much bigger. And to truly grasp how this concept came to be, we need to travel far back to the legends and wisdom keepers who first captured these truths. Way before the modern world's hustle and bustle, there were those who claimed to walk with knowledge that seemed to border on magic. The emerald tablets, said to be written by Thoth, aren't just dusty relics, they're whispers from a time when people believed wisdom was eternal, stretching across continents and ages. Thoth, the master architect and scribe of ancient Egypt, wasn't just a builder of pyramids, but a builder of minds, teaching folks to see the universe with new eyes. Imagine a man so revered that his teachings show up on both sides of the Atlantic, echoing in pyramids from Egypt to Mesoamerica. It's as if the blueprint for awakening is stamped all over the world, just waiting to be rediscovered. The story of Thoth invites you to look at your own life like a grand design, a series of patterns and puzzles. What if every challenge is a stone in your personal pyramid waiting to be set in place? Maybe by looking for these ancient patterns in your day-to-day, you start to see connections between the past and the present. That's not just history, it's a reminder that deep wisdom never really fades. It only changes shape, slipping into new forms as each generation asks new questions. And speaking of questions, Thoth wasn't just about secret codes and symbols. He was the architect of a very practical kind of spiritual school. Long before the first universities, there were mystery schools, hidden spaces where seekers gathered to explore the real meaning of life. These weren't places for memorizing facts. They were designed for those brave enough to ask, "Who am I beyond what the world tells me?" Picture groups of students learning not just to read or write, but to perceive light within darkness and find rebirth through an awakening of consciousness. In these sacred halls, baptism wasn't a ritual with water. It was a journey into a new state of awareness, a complete shift from the inside out. If you've ever felt there must be more to life than what meets the eye, you're tapping into the same hunger those early initiates felt. It's easy to dismiss the old ways as superstition, but think about the last time you faced a setback. Did you look for the lesson, or just want it to be over? The mystery schools taught that every trial is a gateway, not an obstacle, and that darkness is only the absence of light, never the enemy. Anyone can try a mini mystery school moment. When you're overwhelmed, take a breath, ask, what's the deeper lesson here? And see if a new perspective emerges. The world has always needed those who dare to go deeper, to lift the veil and seek hidden truths. But of course, even the brightest wisdom can be twisted when left in the wrong hands. History is full of stories where pure teachings get bent and shaped to serve someone else's agenda. When the original masters left, some temple priests saw an opportunity, not to enlighten, but to control. Instead of guiding people to freedom, they replaced wisdom with rituals, swapping true understanding for empty gestures, and sometimes even using fear as their main tool. Sacrifices, for example, were never about pleasing the gods. They started as practical acts to manage resources, but quickly became tangled in stories that justified power and manipulation. It's a clever trick. Convince people the only way to survive is to follow the rules you set. Anyone who's ever felt pressured to conform just to fit in can recognize this pattern. The lesson here? Don't give away your power to those who promise safety in exchange for obedience. Instead, keep asking questions. Keep searching for what feels real and true to you, not just what's handed down as tradition. When you see through these old games, you realize that the essence of all wisdom is freedom, not fear. This brings us to another twist in the story, the surprising links between ancient Egypt and some of the most familiar teachings in the West. It might surprise you, but some of the most radical ideas attributed to Jesus echo the wisdom of Thoth and the mystery schools. Billy Carson argues that what's now called Christ consciousness, that state of unconditional love, deep wisdom, and selfless service, didn't start with the New Testament. It's a way of being that's been taught for millennia, wrapped in different stories, but always pointing to the same truth. The divine is within you, not outside. The stories about Jesus learning in Egypt during his lost years suggest he was, in fact, a bridge between ancient and modern spiritual thought. If you think about it, turn the other cheek, love your neighbor, or the kingdom of God is within you, aren't just religious slogans. They're codes for unlocking a new way of seeing yourself and the world. You could apply this today by practicing a little radical kindness. Next time someone annoys you, pause, breathe, and choose to respond with patience, not just habit. The journey isn't about memorizing ancient texts, but living their message and noticing how small shifts in your attitude can change everything. And yet behind these inspiring teachings, there's a tangled web of lost histories and hidden stories waiting to be unraveled. Every history book is just one version of the truth, and if you dig a little, you'll find all kinds of lost and hidden stories. Old texts like the Sinai Bible and other so-called apocryphal writings suggest that what most people take for granted about Jesus might not be the whole story at all. Imagine learning that some ancient sources mention no crucifixion or hint that Jesus had a family and descendants. It's a wild ride. Temple carvings describe virgin births and advanced reproductive techniques that sound more like science fiction than Sunday school. And then there are the tales of genetic manipulation, Atlanteans and Anunnaki playing a hand in shaping humanity. But before anyone throws their hands up and shouts, "It's all a lie!" maybe it's better to see these contradictions as a sign that there's always more to discover. If you've ever felt confused by competing opinions or family legends, you know the feeling. The truth is rarely simple. The real power comes from being curious, not complacent, and recognizing that every official story has another side. And in the ancient world, those stories often revolved around bloodlines, power, and what it meant to be truly human. Not all rulers were born equal. Some were shaped, quite literally, to be different. Legends tell of demigods and divine rulers, half human, half something else, engineered to bridge the world of the gods and ordinary people. Think of it as an ancient version of chosen ones, people designed to carry forward a special lineage, both in blood and spirit. Over centuries, these lines were watered down, but the dream of creating someone uniquely suited for a spiritual mission never really died out. Some even say that figures like Jesus or Yeshua were the product of these extraordinary plans, meant to remind humanity of its own hidden greatness. The truth is, everyone carries a piece of the extraordinary inside, whether it's a family trait, a talent, or just a stubborn refusal to give up. Maybe you've noticed certain gifts or challenges running in your own family, hinting at something ancient working through you. Don't ignore those clues. They're part of a larger story about what it means to be here, now, alive in a world still searching for meaning. And the final, most practical lesson these mysteries offer is perhaps the most powerful of all. Here's the kicker. The real return of Christ isn't about waiting for a hero to descend from the clouds. It's about the awakening of a higher consciousness in everyday people. It's a call to rise above the old victim mindset, to stop blaming the world or the past, and start living as a problem solver, a bringer of light. Anyone can choose to become a source of wisdom, kindness, and strength right where they are, right now. Imagine what would happen if you started seeing yourself as the author of your own golden age, not just a passive character in someone else's script. So, what's stopping you from stepping into that role? It might be fear, it might be doubt, but the invitation is always open. To stand up, take ownership, and help shape a new era of awareness and compassion. And as you journey onward, remember, every day is another chance to tune in, to seek the wisdom hidden in plain sight, and to join the long line of seekers stretching all the way back to the very first tablet carved in emerald. Now that you've peeked behind the curtain and glimpsed what most people never question, let me ask, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep following the crowd, or will you start tuning in to the unique frequency inside you, rewriting your own story with courage and clarity? Have you ever wondered what would happen if you finally stopped waiting for permission and decided to step into the role of creator in your own life? The next chapter isn't written yet, it's waiting for you to grab the pen. If you're ready to keep unlocking ancient wisdom and challenge everything you thought you knew, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning. Your awakening is only a click away.